Hi, it's Rachel with Stirring the Deep. I wanted to go a little bit deeper into this idea of images and not having any images and what that means, and expectations, and the expectations being of the spirit and not of the things of the physical, of the flesh. Okay, so in Deuteronomy 5, God is laying out the 10 Commandments. And in verse 8, he says, "You shall not make for yourself a carved image, any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing mercy to thousands, to those who love me and keep my commandments." This verse really struck me about not having any images, carved images of anything, right? And this is what I've been learning and sharing with you about man's wisdom versus God's wisdom. So remember, I was talking about man's wisdom being like this mass consciousness where all the thoughts and ideas and concepts are forming that mass thought, consciousness, spirit of man. And when we are seeking things in life, what it means successful, what it means to be valued, these kind of things, we go to those ideas and concepts and draw upon them. For example, I was talking about how, remember, this success has a certain bucket that we go and we draw from, because if that's what we want to be, because we think, well, that's valued by mankind and I want to feel that way. I want to feel the honor. I want to feel the value. So I want to be successful. And so that bucket has very defined images about, you have this kind of car, you drive this kind of car, you have this kind of house, you live in a certain area, you have a certain home. It's just all of these things that are very specific. Now they vary for different people, but they're still drawing from that bucket, right? But what I've been talking about is going beyond that mass consciousness to the pure consciousness of God. That is not about the physical. It's about the things of the spirit. It's about loving kindness and peace and mercy and compassion and being trustworthy and honor and all these things. And when you're in the wisdom of God, none of those things there's no images to them. None. When you think of the truest of love, love is something it's a dynamic between two people and that's it. There's no images in its purest form. Now the world will try to tie an image to it. This is what this means. This is what love means, is to have this kind of relationship between a man and a woman, right? So they try to put the images on it, but the moment they start doing it, they start corrupting it, because now people start pursuing that image instead of the true quality of the spirit, instead of pursuing true love and what real love means in its purest form. They're now confined to these images that are full of corruption, right? Because images always get full of corruption, because God is spirit. And to really walk in his ways and his wisdom and to be a part of him, there's no boundaries. There's nothing predefined in the physical like that. And so this is what you start learning when you start diving into man's wisdom versus God's wisdom, is this differences between how man's wisdom creates all these images around things. So for men, a lot of times, I'll just use these two examples, it is about what makes a successful man, right? And so there's having this certain education, having this certain job, having this certain authority or power or this amount of money. You know, we'll look at someone and they have certain characteristics, well, they're successful. That shows you we're having images, okay? Because why people pursue that is because they're seeking that value and that honor, and maybe to have what they think will bring peace. But what you find when you pursue the image, it never brings those things, because the image is actually just lies. It's manufactured. It's just vaporware. It's not even real. What's real are those things of the spirit. So you can have all those things and your spirit is totally lacking and depraved because you're not feeding the things of the spirit. Because when you're trying to be successful, you often have to forfeit the things of the spirit You have to forfeit the peace in your life because now you have stress because you have all this responsibility that's put on you because of what the world is demanding of you or what that image is demanding of you. And for women, it's a lot of times it's actually about who they are in terms of their appearance and how they present themselves. So when women go, how can I be valued and honored? What does that mean for me? Then it has, well, to have this certain appearance. And a lot of times there's, as I mentioned before, there's that lust element to it, that you have a certain, you're creating a certain lust from who you are that men desire. Okay, so that's a big part of the woman's image that goes into that. Now, that's not always the case. There's other images about what it means to be successful to a woman, to have that certain power, and to have a certain job, and to be a certain way. And so women try to act that way and to become that image, that power executive. And so they pursue that, and you can see that in them because they're acting in ways that are inconsistent with being a woman. So it's that image is very powerful. And that's what God's saying, because when you're doing that, you're serving those things. And we've all been there. And I know that's what I used to do. I used to pursue the images of the world, pursue what it meant to be successful, pursue what it meant to be desired as a woman. And it's vaporware. It brings no fulfillment because in the very nature of pursuing those images, you are forsaking the Spirit. You have to, because it goes contrary, because it's full of lies and corruption. It's going the wrong way. You will never get there. The only way you find true joy and happiness and value and honor is by pursuing the things of the Spirit. So that's what I was talking about. Your expectations should be of the Spirit. In this moment, what creates loving kindness? What is true love? What creates peace, rest, honor? And when you start drawing on the pure consciousness of God, which that's what He's given us, right? That purified consciousness, that's Him wanting to commune and be a part of us. If we start connecting with that, then it starts becoming a part of us. And that's what starts governing us. Just like if we start going to the man's wisdom, that's what starts governing us. So these images is very important, because most people, when they read these verses, they think of these carved pagan god little figurines or something, or the big statues. No, this is talking about the images that many of us have served and are still serving. And there are many, many, many of them, because what's kind of gets interesting about this is that money is all tied to this. So this is the heart of advertising, right? Is that you have this image, and they need the images to make money, because they take this image for you to be, for example, for you to be a woman that's truly valued. Thus, you have this image, and they'll show you that image. Then you need this product, or you need this service. See, they tie that image to that so that you buy it. Because a lot of times you would never buy a lot of things, but you're buying a lot of things because you think that's part of that image, and that will help you to become that person, and thus feel the value and honor that you're, and the love that you're truly seeking. And so, and it's all a lie. That product doesn't create that image, and even if it does create that image doesn't fulfill anything, because it's not even real. It's based on lies. It's very superficial, because it cannot in itself create anything of the Spirit. Do you see that? It's just like a cardboard cutout in a way. So these images and these expectations are very important to understand the difference in your life. And these images of the world, another aspect of that is they're always changing. The demands are getting greater. And we've certainly seen that, like especially in these last years, is that, to be a certain valued woman, it's just getting more and more demanding. But it has to be that way, because that's how you keep the money going, right? Because if you buy the things that made you that image, okay, well, you need to buy more, because that keeps spending more money. So now you have to increase the image. Same thing with men and what's successful. Now you have to make it even more, just that gap is growing between, where you are and what it means to be successful. So now you're always chasing after that, and you're always pursuing that because the world's telling you, until you're this, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be satisfied. You're not really going to have all that you deserve until you are this image. Lies. If you pursue that, your spirit is left in the dust. And the more you pursue the images, the more your spirit starts to decay. And it decays to where it becomes just nothing. And when that starts happening, darkness, fears, angers, loneliness, just all these things start plaguing your spirit. Depression, not satisfaction. So that is not the path. And that path is very broad, okay? But the path to true honor, true love, the real peace that you desire is following the wisdom of God. So you got to break away from that and break away from all those images that you serve, that we've all served, and start pursuing life. Because when I started pursuing the things of God's wisdom, I started to live in what I always desired. So I was chasing the things of the world, seeking those things of my spirit, thinking that would take me there. All it did was take me further away. When I started pursuing the wisdom of God, which is acting in this moment, is very present-minded. It's in this moment, what makes for loving kindness, what makes for peace, because you don't have any expectations about the future except that they're going to be full of those characteristics. So you don't have any images about what the physical is going to look like. You don't have any images about where that path is going to guide you in your job or where you're going to live. It's because you're following each day that spirit that's guiding you with the things that are before you, and you're following those promptings, and you're walking down those paths, and as you come upon a new door, you go down it and you explore it. But it's all moving you, and you're moved by the Spirit. You're moved by the things of the Spirit. You're not compelled by images. So you can see how damaging this is. And, think about God's truths in their purest form. They have no image. Like love is just it's an expression between two people. Even, you with your animals. It's in the purest form. There's no image to it. But with the world, you'll see it really turns into lust. And that's what happens, is that these pure things of God, the world tries to say, well, this is what love is. And they put all these images on it. And the moment they do that, it's lost its truth. It's lost its purity. Okay, so you have to get rid of those things and just start pursuing those things in their purest form, which that is going to that pure consciousness, that pure wisdom of God, and seeking those things of the Spirit and letting those things drive your life and be your expectations. Till next time, keep stirring the deep. It's the one thing that changes everything else.